Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here today, and I'm really happy that Celeste is here today because we're going to be talking about astrology. But I'm telling you right now, look, you guys, I want to hold your cheeks. I really do. This is important because 2025 is a 9 year, and 9 is about endings, and it's about transformation, and it's about your identity and your values, and it's about a lot of things. And Celeste is going to talk about that. But there's so much extra energy around this 9 year because for some crazy reason the universe decided to schedule all the new moons at 9 degrees. So you go, wait a minute, why are all these nines? It's not just a 9 year, all the new moons are at 9 degrees. So you had this 9 degrees energy like on blast, right? That is what's happening right now. And stick around because she's not only going to talk about stuff that's going to help you and me, thankfully, but she's also going to talk about Musk. And she's going to talk about 45, felon, the man. And she's going to talk about how this transformation energy, and when you think about the word transformation, you can almost think about transforming out of the country or transforming out of the universe. I don't know. There's lots of ways a person could transform. Who am I to say what's going to happen? Because I don't know. But anyway, I'd like to welcome Celeste here on my channel, Astrology by Celeste. I know she's a crowd favorite. We had to bring her back. And we're going to talk again in just a few minutes about a class that she's got coming up and some other things. But you can find her on Instagram. You can find her YouTube. You don't have a YouTube channel, do you?
Yes,
You do?
Astrology by Celeste I'm on all the socials except Pinterest.
Everything, you guys. Follow her. It's fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me today. How have you been?
I'm doing all right. I am hanging in here. This is a time that feels very, yeah, it's a time. But I decided this year my faith is stronger than my fear. And I think
I
it's
agree.
really
That's all we
important.
have left is faith. That's all we have left is faith.
We do, because it's crazy. It's tumultuous. It's tumultuous. It's a roller coaster. It's chaotic. It's all of these things. And yeah, and there's so many endings. Yeah.
9 year, guys, endings. So do you want to help us out with the 9 year and the astrology of the 9 year? And then we'll go into 45's, I want to say demise. That's the word that I wanted to say. So we can always hope or whatever happens,
Mhm.
may he be blessed on his journey out of the White House, whatever way that happens.
Yeah, we're finding out the emperor really has
No
maybe
clothes.
the scraps of clothes, if that. So anyway, a 9 year. So numerologically, the numerology of nine is it's a number of endings and closings. It's a culmination. And you can think about in the tarot, I'm sure most people have an understanding of the tarot. We have each of those suits, the nines have meaning. So the Nine of Cups is actually the wish card. It's like this faith, belief that fulfillment, your dreams are possible. And when you go from before the dream becomes possible and into the dream, there is a sense of ending and closure to your old life. And what we can do as we get ready to step into this new place is reflect on where we've been before. And like the Nine of Pentacles really comes to me. That's the independent lady card where you've worked so hard to manifest what you've got. Now you can like relax on your laurels and enjoy. And water and earth are more pentacles and the cups are more internal. Now air and fire are more external. Now the nine of air, which we can feel like we are in it right now, and the nine of swords is the nightmare card, where you're letting all of your fears and your thoughts about what could be happening stress you out. And the nine of fire is like you've worked so hard and like you feel like you're a veteran limping home from war and you're exhausted, but there's just one more hill to climb before you get to the next place. So that's like a framework of nine as well, in addition to the endings and closing.
I never thought about looking at it in the tarot, the nines in the tarot. That is fascinating.
Yeah, I love it. And I work with the moon cycles a lot. And it's really interesting that it started last fall around the solar eclipse in Libra, but each of the new moons, what you'll have is like for several months, sometimes new moons will be at the same degree and then they start slipping backwards. I mean, that's just the nature of it. You can tell when the new moon is going to be in 10,000 years or 10,000 years ago. It is this cyclical cycle that is predictable. And they're all at nine and until the Aries solar eclipse, which is coming on March 29th. And eclipses are new moons and full moons times 10 or 10,000, depending on how they hit your chart, where you walk through a door, you turn around, and there's a wall. So the last solar eclipse, we walked through this door in Libra, the sign that rules justice, fairness, balance, harmony, and it was right before the election, this closure of these topics. And now we're in this like new world and until the new moon in Aries. There is some new start coming that time where I'm feeling like, there might be, I have faith that there could be like positive things coming from that. It's like, but the next day, Neptune, the planet of illusions, delusions, and deception, moves into the sign of Aries. And there's like something like the bubble pops.
When is that? Yeah.
30th.
March 30th is the new moon?
March 29th is the new moon in Aries.
Oh, okay. Okay, March 30th is okay.
March 30th, the next day after the new moon in Aries, it's like the balloon pops. Now, it may be something difficult. Aries is a fire sign, it's cardinal initiating energy. It could be some like conflict energy or something, but I just feel like there's something about like Trump is a very Neptune and Pisces type figure, the cult leader. He like sprinkles pixie dust all over people and they're like, ooh la la, give me some more, give me some more. But once the balloon pops, people are going to start seeing things for how they really are, not just the illusion of what they were told. So and that's the last nine. So we had Libra, then Scorpio, which took us down to the depths of hell, and we had the election. Sagittarius, it was all this reckless fighting. The MAGA Civil War happened then. Then Capricorn, the dictator rose. At nine Capricorn is a fixed star Fasces that speaks to a dictator rising, essentially. And
Wow.
this person acts like they are a dictator.
Yeah.
Then nine Aquarius, that was when Uranus stationed direct the next day. And Aquarius is the sign of the collective. The first thing that happened was that plane, the military helicopter, flew into a commercial jet. And it's like, what the hell? And now we're seeing it's like almost every day. Aquarius and Uranus are associated with aviation. It's like, oh my God, there's this breakdown of safety in the skies. And Elon Musk fired all these people he was irritated with from the FAA and the Transportation Agency and blah, blah, blah. And then a plane falls out of the sky, well, is attacked. And then the president says it's DEI's fault. So it's like we're in the twilight zone.
We're in hell. Forget the twilight zone. We are in hell. So it's interesting that that's the last nine, that 3/30/25 is the last 9. And then those numbers equal 13, which is a karmic debt number. But if you add those two together, you get 4, which is stability. So it could be that after 3:30, sometime between 3:30 and what is happening in April? Isn't the eclipse in April?
So no, the eclipse is so the eclipse is March 29th. Neptune moves into Aries on March 30th. Venus, the planet that rules money, resources, diplomacy, relationships of all kinds, is retrograde till April 12th. And then it goes direct. So there's going to be like, there's so much crazy, chaotic
I get it, yeah.
energy. Now, I saw all of this crazy energy that was happening since November, as a fight where Kamala won and Trump was trying to stop her through legal means from becoming the president. I think
same
that's the
energy
timeline we were supposed to be on.
but it's the same fighting energy, right?
It's the same energy.
It's just the flip. It's just the flip of it, right? The fighting energy was going to be there either way. That's why I always said I felt sorry for Kamala, because I thought this is going to be hell. We're going to have civil war because the MAGAs are not going to accept it, but we're still experiencing the same energy. It really is. The energy has to just work itself out. So I think it's interesting. So I think what you might be saying to me is that with that Neptune and then the Aries, if you think about Neptune, if you think about something being, also Neptune is photography, but if you think about Neptune being, a little bit dreamy, right? And you think about Aries being impatient and action oriented, then you talk about that bubble popping. And then you have that Venus being in retrograde, which is relationships being like on the sidelines. That means diplomacy. That means we don't have the extra patience or whatever to be diplomatic or to have. So those weeks right there could be a real like sea change, or like, do you agree with your estimation of the bubble popping? And we talked a little bit before we went on about Musk. How does this, so today, in case you guys don't know, because talk about bubble busting, I was having a great day until that happened, until I just happened to open up my members online on my app, and one of the members shared the video of Musk toddler basically telling 45, you're not the president, and shut the F up. While his dad is talking and just kind of like, like doing this.
I'm going to make mistakes, but that's all right.
Oh my God.
And found in the Treasury.
And Trump looks like he's sitting at the little kid's desk because he's all like hunched over, and he's at the Resolute desk, which is, what is this man Musk even doing in that office? He's not an elected official.
He's the president.
He should not be there, and his toddler should not be telling our president to shut the F up. So anyway, so I feel like, and I've always said this for a long time, that this year was going to be ruination for Musk. And I believe that he's doing all the dirty work that Vance, and we all know 45 is out to lunch, but Vance and Teal and those people that are the real handlers, Musk is doing the dirty work. And when he's gone too far, they'll get rid of him. They'll arrest him. They'll investigate him. They'll deport him. They'll get rid of him. And then they'll pretend like it was all Musk and it was never them. And that's a perfect scapegoat. So that scapegoat. So that's why I think this is why they're letting him run so wild, because if you move the goalpost all the way over here and then you just move them back, you're nowhere near where we started. He's moving, the finish line way over there. So you move it back and you say, we fixed it. No, you didn't. It was supposed to be way over here. So it helps them. Even if they roll some of the things back, they still have accomplished some of their goals.
Well, the new moon in Aquarius, which was on January 29th, was conjunct the asteroid Icarus. And Icarus' father made wings for them to fly out of this prison that they were in. They have a whole backstory, it doesn't matter for this. But the wings had beeswax is what held them together. So he told Icarus, do not fly too close to the sun because we need to be responsible. And Icarus was like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. He flew too close to the sun. The sun melted the beeswax on his wings, and he plunged into the sea. Now, on March 13th, we have a lunar eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. And Virgo, the bees are ruled by Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. It has to do with farmland. It has to do with earthy things, our health, routines and rituals, the basics, workers, employees. And the South Node is in that sign. And the South Node is a drain, a cosmic clearing. It's the cosmic vacuum cleaner. And this eclipse is full moons bring full illumination, and on an emotional level, they can be intense. And he has his Pluto, the planet of, Pluto's serious business at 27 Virgo. So there's this big sucking sound potentially on his power.
He's going to get hoovered. Okay.
When your Pluto is activated like this, and it's in his third house of communication and the mind. So something he says or could cause him to literally lose his power and be sucked into a vortex of some kind that humbles, humiliates, and disempowers him is how I'm seeing this come out. Hopefully it's not the reverse and it just empowers him more. But I'm not feeling that. There's other things going on that to me
I don't
it's like
think so. Yeah.
a comeuppance.
Yeah, he issues an edict. The guides are saying he issues an edict, which isn't that like a statement, like this is my statement, you'll do what I say. It's like this forceful edict. He issues this edict, and that's sort of the last straw. People are like, that's it. You're not the president. And I don't know if this is about Musk, but I'm just being reminded that when I was making dinner earlier that I heard treason, but do they do articles of treason? Because I didn't hear articles of impeachment. I heard articles of treason. So I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I agree with you. I think that Musk is flying too close to the sun, and I think he's going to plummet. How interesting that Icarus and into the sea, which would be interesting because there's a great big ocean between here and South Africa. That he can traverse. You know what I mean?
There's no specific document called Articles of Treason.
Okay.
But it's explicitly defined in Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort.
So there you go. So his communication could be proven to be with an enemy. I feel like they're watching him. I feel like they're just waiting for him to do that last thing. And I know, and I get it, you guys are so tired of waiting and so tired of hearing this, but this is what I'm getting. I've never, even way before Musk was our pretend president, I always heard that he would have ruination in this year. That was even last year. And he's just hastening it. These guys, it's just like 45. If they would just play it cool, if they would just play their hand cool, they could get away with so much and they could stay in power. But they don't. They have to be robber barons. They have to be bigger than life, and they have to throw it in everybody's face. And that's what causes them to lose their power, because they just fly too close to the sun.
Yes. And what's happening now, and one of our saving graces, maybe, at least that's how I'm hoping it shows up, is that Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion, is retrograde. And it's retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which Elon Musk is a Cancer rising, and he has how he thinks and communicates in this sign, as well as his sun. So he has this real energetic emphasis of in this sign. And Mars does not like to be in this sign. It's the sign of its fall, where it may act in extreme and ineffective ways. It's also retrograde is an affliction where there can be delays, restrictions, conflicts, or the collapse of anything contemplated, like becoming king of the world. And it's so public for him because Mars rules his midheaven, his career point, and we really see how insanely out of control he is during these Mars retrograde times. When he bought Twitter, it was Mars retrograde in Gemini, and he bought Twitter and like destroyed it in weeks with all of these things he did. And now he's doing that in the US government and brought these hackers in to transfer. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are these children doing here? What could in the world could they be doing? And people are so foolish, they're not reacting to this. I mean, they are hackers. What code are they trying to write to overwhelm our systems? I mean, it's how I'm seeing it. Anyway.
And that would be an act of war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? This is not, they're not, I don't think you guys, they're going to pull this off. I don't see it. I really don't. I'm over here planning my event for 2025. Do you think I'd be doing that if I thought we were going to be in a dictatorship? Believe me, I wouldn't. So I know it's rough right now, but it's almost like we need to let these people run, you know, run full out with the rope so that they can do the thing to themselves, right? So that we have no choice but to stand up. That's kind of unfortunately, I feel like the energy is. We have to get to this point where we have no choice, like it's them or us. It's them or us. What are we going to choose? That's the point we have to get to. And I feel like that really could happen in
well,
April.
Kendrick Lamar said, this is the revolution, right place,
And
wrong time, wrong guy. You picked the wrong guy.
You guys, if you have not, please not only watch Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, but then do like I did and get a PhD in all the things that show meant, like they call them Easter eggs, right? Like when you find things about a movie where the set person forgot to move the clock over here and then it's in the wrong place in the next scene. They call them Easter eggs. You're finding things out about that scene or that movie. Find out all the Easter eggs about Kendrick Lamar's message for America, because it's absolutely fascinating. College professors were contacting people to say, can I use your breakdown of his show in my class tomorrow morning? That's how important it is. But so, you know,
Yeah, it was
the
only thing that was more watched than the Super Bowl halftime show was the moon landing. And Uranus rules broadcasting. I don't know if I said it, but the full moon we're having today, as we're taping this on February 12th, is square Uranus. And Uranus rules broadcasting, it rules revolutions, shocks and awe, unexpected upheaval. Anonymous is back. They're a revolutionary. You know, we're seeing all these Uranian things in addition to aviation. Mm-hmm.
And whistleblower, you know, my guide said last year they said the whistleblower is going to be the person of the year on Time Magazine in 2025. This is what they said last year. And I'll be darned if it is not whistleblowers all over the place, because you see those people that are in the government, they're not going to just let some punk take over our country. They're going to do what they can. The FBI, they're trying to run the FBI out. Who was it that they caught lying? Kash Patel.
Yes.
Kash Patel, they caught him lying. He said to Congress, I'm not going to do anything to these career. And then here's the actual papers where he's saying he's going after career FBI people. So look, it's not sustainable. This energy is not sustainable. Like in the video where I showed you guys the house of cards falling. This is what's going to happen. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen and how is it going to happen. I think the first thing they're going to do is get rid of Musk because that's the easiest scapegoat. So is there scapegoat energy in the astrology? Is that why you said scapegoat?
Yeah, I feel like there's a big scapegoat energy coming up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because a lot of all this started with Mars retrograde, you don't want to start a new project in this energy, especially running wild and hectically and crazily, because there's going to be problems. And what retrogrades do is like they pull back the tape, or they leave a track of breadcrumbs that can be traveled and stepped over so that you can see what happened. So we'll be able to see evidence of the crime later.
Yes.
Hopefully it doesn't take years and years to get to it, but it will be laid down there for us to find. And so there's going to have to be someone to blame when like there's complete upheaval, and it could be coming. Venus is going retrograde on March 1st, and Mercury soon after that. Venus, and I already talked about Venus. Mercury rules commerce, and transportation and communication of all kinds. So there could be some system that has a complete breakdown because of what he's done.
It could
And
be the airlines. I literally see planes grounded.
grounded.
I don't see them falling out of the sky. You guys,
Me
I'm not saying
either.
it can't happen, but I don't see that. I just see them grounded. Like
Grounded.
you can't fly because we don't, our system is down, whatever the reason is. But how interesting, right? Because see, I read the energy. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I told my viewers transportation, boats, planes, buses, ferries, buses. I don't even care. Trains. I don't care. All things transportation are going to be breaking down and seizing up and not working correctly. So does that make sense astrologically?
Absolutely. Now, all of it, Uranus is going into Gemini July 7th or 8th. And that is going to be, and Gemini rules roads, bridges, yeah, that kind of transportation. So
And Uranus, you said Uranus is going to go.
Uranus.
Talk about Uranus for a second, because Uranus and Pluto are two planets that we need to know very, very well right now. Now, Mars, you guys, Mars is action. So when she's saying Mars is in retrograde, basically whatever action you try to take is not going to go well, because the planet of action is not working. It's offline. It's taking a break. So that's why she was saying, like when he launched Twitter, when his Mars, which is very important to him, was offline, and here he is doing it again. So it's almost like Spirit is saying, yeah, go ahead and do it now. This is a good time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so we know about Mars. Let's talk about Uranus,
Yeah, and so
which is what
retrograde,
you're
you can
talking
still
about.
do things, but you have to be careful and triple
Yes.
check and go slowly in a retrograde.
They have I like Mercury retrograde because I go back to the projects that I never could get done, and I sometimes can actually get them done very easily. So redo, reflect, retrograde. But with Mars, it's action. So you don't really want to plan a huge thing when your Mars is activated and it's retrograde. So, but you're talking about Uranus, and you're talking about Gemini, and you're talking about July?
Yes, July, it happens July 7th or 8th, where Uranus moves from the sign of Taurus, which it's been in since 2018. And Taurus is a sign of resources and land and currency, banks. Think of everything that's gone on since then. And Uranus brings scientific innovation. It's the planet of genius. but it also is sudden breaks. It's like this stressful energy where things fall apart suddenly, like any kind of accident, like you're walking down the street, you fall and you're in the ditch. That is a Uranian event where something that was going, like something that was moving in a predictable way, suddenly is thrown into chaos, is Uranus. It also is very future focused, like Saturn is the structures, and Uranus looks at those structures and thinks, I could make them better by doing this, that, or the other. It also is associated with like mass communications. It's a higher octave of Mercury. That's why it rules genius. Mercury is the thought processes, but Uranus is this higher octave that speaks to it's transpersonal energy. And so when it gets into, it's been in Taurus, it's been slowly breaking things down. And now it's near a fixed star that has to do with catastrophe or things that impact a lot of people at once. And then it moves into Gemini with this energy, and whew, things start changing really fast about the way people think, about transportation. There's all of a sudden, your cell phone isn't working. Twitter is down, this is down, da da da. And you're like, oh my God, and it's causing so much difficulty. What you're seeing is exactly what's coming. And it may not take that long to get there. It's going to start, it's already starting, but something's going to happen around the 8th of July that's like, woo, we can't deny it anymore.
It could just be a power outage. Like
Yes,
I don't
mass
think
power.
we're seeing mass casualties. We're seeing mass frustration. Mass frustration is what I'm seeing. Like she's saying, like the cell towers are out, and I've seen that, and that's very Uranian, right? Like the whole United States going dark for like 5 hours or 10 hours. And, just imagine you don't have your cell phone, you're on the interstate, you don't even know where you're going. You don't even know how to get to where you're going, right? You can't call anybody. So, that's very disruptive. And it's very like, snap, everything has changed. Just like in a blink of an eye, everything has changed. So it's those kinds of things that can happen with this kind of energy. And that stuff can affect Musk, and it will affect Musk if he's still there in July. I think he's gone by June. I think that they're compiling data or evidence or whatever you want to call it right now against him. And I think he's giving us a bunch of evidence anyway in his own words, in his own transmission.
Oh, and I'm going to make mistakes. Excuse me?
And I think those kids are going to get arrested. I think those kids are going to really bear a pretty heavy fine. I'm seeing
Well, one of them deserves it, the Nazi one.
Yeah, but yes, but they all do. If I'm seeing that guy, there was a Navy guy who was arrested, or a contractor even too, that was arrested for selling things to other countries. This is kind of how I'm seeing it. It is that is traitor. That's treason. So yeah, I don't think it's
trying
going
to
to be
enrich
pretty.
themselves by selling Social Security numbers or something.
I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I do think that. 100% think that. Or instead of our Social Security numbers, the structure of how our system works. Think about that. Companies don't want anybody to know how their systems work. That's proprietary information. And this is the United States of America. You can't just copy the way our system works and give it to somebody so they know how our system works. That's being a traitor. So it doesn't look good to me, and all this 9 energy on top of everything else she's talking about. So I would say to you guys, because what we're talking about feels like anxiety producing, there's some things you can do, right? Besides besides being anxious, you can arm yourself, right? You can do breathing every day. You can meditate. You can take care of yourself. But you can also, I'll tell you what my guides have me doing every time I start to have anxiety, they like redirect me to do something productive. Susan, work on that class that you're going to do. Work on the event. Do this, do that. Take a class. God dang, they want me to take all these classes. Like, I don't even want to do these classes. I'm like, I don't even know. There's like a class where you sit on an exercise ball and beat something. I'm like, well, that actually, maybe that would be good for me. Like, I might, and I'm kind of clumsy. So I can imagine one of those sticks flying out of my hand and knocking somebody clear out. But anyway, besides that, I'm going to say to you that, you can enrich yourself, right? So, I mean, I have a class coming up March 1st for $37, Your Soul's Destiny, and it'll be in the description, but Celeste has a class coming up. If you like astrology and you can see how she talks about it, she doesn't go over your head. She makes it make sense in a human way. She's got a really cool introductory astrology class coming up. And there's still room in it, but think about checking it out because I do think she's going to sell this out. But anyway, her website's right behind her, Astrology by Celeste, okay? And it'll be down here in the description, and it's a beginner class. And what I like about that too is you get your own chart. You get your own chart and you're working on yourself. So not only are you learning astrology, but you're learning all the stuff you need to know about why your life is the way it is and why your life might change if you do certain things. So this is actually investing in you. Even if you took that class and you didn't want to become an astrologer, you could become a freaking expert in your life. And you can also use your spouse, your kids' charts, so you can learn about them too. So think about joining her class. Again, all the information is going to be down in the description. Really, you guys, worrying is not going to fix any of this. I'm telling you, if we could worry a solution, Musk would have already popped into thin air along with 45 and a few other people. MTG comes to mind a long time ago. Worry is not going to solve anything. Instead, enrich yourself. Take care of yourself, okay? What else do we want to talk about?
I do want to say the class is called Astrology Foundations 101. It's 8 weeks. And yeah, I think you'll love it. And I want to say that another symbology of the 9 is that the nodes, the lunar nodes are their points, but they speak to as a collective where we are going and what we need to leave behind. They're always on an axis. And they go backwards through the zodiac every 18 months. So this is the work we're all doing. And so right now the North Node is in Pisces, which is an amplifier. The North Node is, and Pisces is a sign of compassion, forgiveness, intuition, spirituality, belief systems, trust, letting go, surrender. And the South Node is in the sign of Virgo. And Virgo is this mutable earth sign, and it wants to bring order to chaos. It wants everything a certain way. On the shadow side, it's like perfectionistic and needs everything just so. And we're letting go of that shadow Virgo, and we're pulling in more of the Pisces positive energy in order to move through this time in the best way. But this is the axis of well-being. Virgo has to do with physical health. Pisces has to do with mental health. So you just described it, Susan. Like, we cannot, South Node and Virgo, worry ourselves into making anything happen. There has to be a level of surrender and trust. You're working on your courses, you're working on your event. You're not assuming that the world is going to come crashing down to an ending, even though it may look like it at this very moment. But the energy is totally different in a few months. So yeah, and I trust that there's going to be things about it that are going to be better. This is a difficult time for the United States. No doubt about it. This man is turning the world against us right now. And I can see it coming. He's doing stuff between now and May. May, people are going to be really mad, even more mad at us. So, but I trust we are going to be all right. We are going to be all right. This is not going to go how they think it's going to go. We are not going to just roll over. See what's happening in Ohio, where those neo-Nazis thought they were going to just march in town and intimidate people. The Black people there said, "Oh, no, you don't."
No,
They
you're not.
gathered up a militia, an armed militia to protect their town. It's like, this is not 1920.
We're not going to roll over. We're not going to roll over.
Kendrick Lamar told Donald Trump to his face, right revolution, right time, wrong guy. You know, you picked the wrong guy. Yeah. And there was other things about that.
Oh, there was a lot of things. I'm telling you guys, just YouTube it and watch all the symbolism in his show. It was coded. He sent us a coded message, right? So, yes, I think that with all the things you're talking about, which are anxiety producing, but honestly, they're really the pressure cooker that's going to free us from this tyranny, is what the guides are saying. They literally just said, free from the tyranny. So yes, it's a pressure cooker, but just imagine if you're Musk, because his astrology is not very good and Donald Trump's is not very good either. So I really feel like we've got a face full of what they're offering, and we're now waking up. I don't know about you, but for some reason, I'm getting texts from Democrats now asking for all kind of, every Democrat that you can imagine is texting me like it's an election.
Like they're for your money?
Yes, like it's an election season. So apparently the Democrats woke up and they're like, we got to do something. We need your help, right? So that's something, right? That's something right there. That's an indication that the Democrats have woken up. And all these farmers are unfortunately, just getting hammered from all of the things that Canada has stopped cooperating with them, which I don't blame Canada at all. And then all of the
threats. It's insane to like attack your allies.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I don't see the military. Is there anything in the astrology about the military? I hate to throw you under the bus there, because I don't know if, but I don't see the military really throwing in with him. I see them paying lip service to him, which will look bad. It'll look bad, but I don't see them actually doing anything. Like it's false. Like they show up and they bravado, but they don't really do anything.
Okay, so what's Neptune and Aries? Aries is associated with the military and war and conflict. But Neptune is like a belief system, like going to battle before a beliefs. The Neptune last was in Aries during the Civil War. So I know that it has scared some people, but then Saturn goes into Aries. And Saturn has associations with leaders, and Saturn and Aries suggest people think their leader isn't very competent. And now this could be the draft, but I'm wondering, I'm getting an image, and like I'm nowhere near psychic as you, Susan, but soldiers putting their weapons down and saying, I'm not
doing it. I agree with you.
These people are going to Gaza to turn it into a resort for you. And like, I don't think it's going to go the way you think it's going to go. Following this Fox News host who's a moron.
No, they're not going to do it. They're not. I saw the same thing. I said it in a video. There was one of those countries where the guys took their uniforms off and put them, like left them in the ground and ran off in their underwear. Like that's kind of what I see Americans doing. But it's interesting about the Neptune thing, because Neptune is dreamy and not exactly what you think you're seeing. And I feel like the generals are like, make it look big, make it look menacing, but in reality, we didn't bring the ammunition. Like we didn't bring something we need. We're not even gonna, what I'm hearing right now is my dad was in the Korean War, and he was near the front line. He was a mechanic, but he was issued a rifle. He was actually a sharpshooter. But his rifle had no bullets. He said they didn't even give us bullets. He said we weren't even allowed to have bullets. No, that first of all, you're not infantry. We need the bullets for them people. And number two, just hold this thing. You'll look big. You'll look important. And it's the same energy, right? Of the puffing up, gesturing, bravado. I want to warn you guys because it's likely to see that, but I don't see it transmitting into action. I don't see it crossing that line. I just think it's imagery, which is Neptune.
I hope there's no false flag.
There could be. I read that. There could be a false flag. Because if there is, that can play into 45's hands. But again, everything has got that energy of the Three Stooges. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they can't ever get anything right. Like everything falls apart. And if he does a false flag, it's almost like a general goes, no, that was us. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So it's
going to be on the water likely, like with Neptune, and I'm getting like an isthmus.
There you go. I saw that Navy ship. Navy ship attacked. Yes, I did. Remember,
I wanted to ask you a question.
The Nimitz. I saw something to do with Nimitz. I know that there's a boat, there's a ship named the Nimitz, but there's also a commander named the Nimitz. But go ahead. What was your question?
Nimitz. I'm going to write that down. Okay.
I don't know how it works yet. It's just energy.
The guy from the real world, who's now our transportation secretary, tweeted something about how Elon Musk was going into our aviation system and upgrading it. So I don't know if that was laying a trap for Elon Musk for something to happen and he to be blamed for it. Did you get it? Does that connect with you at all? I thought that was a really weird thing to be telling people. Or is he just trying to scare us?
No, I think it's just like how I understand that we got the video of how it became known, the video of the toddler, of Musk's toddler, is that Elon Musk's, one of his super fanboys, shared it because he thought it was awesome.
This isn't just a press conference, it's something different?
It was a press conference, but no one paid any attention to it. And this Elon Musk super fan said, "This is awesome. Watch Elon's son call." That's how it became popular. So it's like they can't help themselves. They literally tell on themselves. So this guy saying Musk is upgrading he's actually bragging because they truly believe their own PR. You know what I'm saying? They truly
that he's going to do good things, that he just
he believes it. He's like, this is amazing, and it's going to backfire. This is what I'm trying to say. Three Stooges, everything they do backfires on them. It's just like Icarus flying too close to the sun. I can do it. I'm special. I'm even more special than my father. I can fly close to the sun. No, you can't. So everything they do, even the military things, it's just going to fall short. It's going to backfire. Again, Mars is retrograde, action, war, all those things that Mars stands for. It's not like they just don't have it. It's just not lining up for them to be successful.
Now, Mars stations to go direct February 23rd. That's a Sunday. So the next couple of weeks can be a little tense, but after a week or so after that, Mars starts getting moving. There's still some time where it's not in its best state, but Venus goes retrograde March 1st, and then Mercury March 14th. So I wonder if that plane's grounded could be around March 14th. I think that's more of when Congress may shut down, the government may shut down.
and then they don't pay the bills, and then the controllers aren't being paid, and then the airplanes stop. I mean, yes, see, this is what I'm trying to understand, you guys. There's so many levers.
Maybe that's Neptune.
There's not just one. There's not just one. There's all these planets that are all having their individual effect. And if one doesn't get it, there's another one. There's too many bad aspects for these people to pull it off. And there's going to get to a point where it's going to pinch those Republicans, those business Republicans. That's who I see stopping this, is the old guard Republicans. I see they're the ones who's going to say, okay, that's it. We're going to throw in with the Democrats. The guides have always told me there's 11 Republicans. They need 8 to 11 Republicans to throw in with them to impeach him or to whatever it is they're going to do. And I think, you start stopping planes not because they're falling out of the sky, but because they can't take off, because the towers are down, because the grid is down, whatever is happening. Then you're really stepping on the toes of commerce, which is then stepping on the toes of the stock market, which is then stepping on the toes of corporations. And then that's not gonna be a thing. That's a no-go.
Yeah, April 12th is another day when Venus goes direct, and then Mercury goes direct April 7th. So these are also dates. Just be aware there can be delays, restrictions.
Tell us the dates again. April 12th.
Those dates, huh?
April 12th.
April 12th and April 7th. So April 7th and 12th.
So you guys, if you're flying, I'm not saying cancel your ticket. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is bring extra patience, bring extra power bars. If you're traveling with kids, bring extra batteries, bring backup batteries. Just be prepared. The guides keep telling me, it's like if you're traveling during the winter and you might get delayed because of a snowstorm. They keep using that same analogy. It's just like if you're traveling and there's tornadoes and you need to just lay low and not get on the road. One time I had to pull over to a gas station and sit for 3 hours while these storms went by. This is all I'm saying, is that if you can be prepared in that way, that you may be delayed, you're going to be fine. It's just going to be a delay. But it is going to interrupt business, and it's going to interrupt commerce. That's the transportation part too. And that's going to make these old guard Republicans start picking up the phone and calling the Dems and saying, Uncle, we're ready to do something. What do we do? We're ready. Of course, not all of them. We just need 8 or 10 of them. That's all we need. But that's what's going to, these strictures. I don't know what, that's Uranus too, I think, right? Like this sudden stricture and releasing.
Yes, it's like a sudden big release and break. And there's Uranus transits coming up. April 26th is a big time. I would not, if you can avoid it, I would avoid traveling around April 26th. This could be when there's this is Mars in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. This happened on New Year's Eve, where we had those 2 terror attacks. Not that there's going to be a terror attack, but it's like Pluto is a higher octave of Mars. It's like has a mass influence, and it can bring it moves at the speed of a glacier, but has the impact of a tsunami. But when it comes into your conscious attention, oh my God. Like it was Mars square Pluto when the October 7th attack happened. It was, it could be like a total grid failure or something like that.
And I keep seeing a grid failure. To me, that's Uranian too, because I always think of Uranian as lights out, lights on, or like the lightning. It's dark out and the lightning hits and it lights up the trees and then it goes dark again. So but the Mars Pluto feels like someone does something, like a martial person. It's someone's fault that this happened, rather than like a power grid failure could be it's just too cold and the weather. I
Mars, Pluto could be the fires.
Could
But
it be martial law?
yes,
Because Mars is martial law.
yes, it could totally be martial law. Yes.
Now, so you guys see how you can write down the dates on your calendar? And what I like to do when I get an astrology reading is, for me, like, I write down those dates. Like, around this date, you might not want to do this, or you might want to be aware of sharp instruments, or be extra careful around this, right? So you guys, astrology is super helpful. We're telling you dates for the United States of America, but you can get the same dates for you, and you can put them in your calendar, and then you can just be aware of it, right? Which is super helpful. So she also does readings, but if you did her class, this is another thing that you could be aware of. Like, this is empowering you, right, in your own life. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're all worried about what he's doing in DC, but really we should be worried about what we're doing. And how can we empower ourselves? Like, you might not even know that this is a really good time for you. This could be a very, very good time for you, and you're not taking advantage of it because this freaking idiot is got us all freaked out, right? So empower yourself, right? Really take this time, and every time you get worried or concerned, think about, what can I do to help me?
Yeah. And I'm loving the story of Onijah, the woman from the Bronx who went to Pakistan. Have you seen this at all, Susan?
I don't watch the news, but I think I heard. Tell me about it.
And she's like, clear the way. Okay, this woman catfished. Oh, she's 33, and she catfished some 19-year-old from Pakistan, planning to go over and marry him. Now, she has mental health issues, which is
Oh,
so in the energy, but she took Pakistan by storm. Like, she got there, the guy had to break up with her because his parents were like, But then she kept demanding things from the government about wanting $2,000 here. And then she was talking about how she was going to rebuild the country. And she's
oh,
very bossy. And then all these Pakistani men were asking her to marry them and all of this. She has become a worldwide celebrity. Now
where
she's
have I been?
Dubai. She is making her dream life come true. When she gets back to the US, she's going to have a reality show. She's going to have interviews. She's going to get the money she was demanding. She was telling people it's none of your business. It's my religion that not telling you my business. I mean, she was just so comical in the way she delivered these
What's her
lines.
name again?
Onijah.
Anijah.
Onijah. You could just Google. I would go to like TikTok or so,
Onijih. Okay.
or Instagram or YouTube.
That's the kind of distraction I'm ready for. So
People
that
are loving it. They're
and
so
how does
invested
that fit
in the
astrology
story.
wise?
Mhm.
How does that fit in the astrology?
Neptune, and that is
Oh,
like
delusion.
illusions. And she wants to be more financially secure. And that's what and she was deluded that Pakistan was going to give her this money. No, maybe they're not, but she could make it. She said she's going to
Here.
launch a Bitcoin or something like that.
Oh my God. Before you know it, she'll be throwing in with DJT. she'll be
Who knows?
she'll,
She's like the
she'll be in
Donald
the cabinet.
Pakistan. She's going out, ordering people around, telling them what to do. They love her. They're taking care of her. She's talking about, this is my team behind me. At one point, she was they took her to the hospital or something. But I mean, mental illness is not funny or anything,
Oh my
but
God.
she's something.
She's
And
a force to be reckoned with.
she's so in line with this energy. Like, she doesn't follow rules. She does things her own way. She's a little revolutionary. I mean, you shouldn't be catfishing 19-year-olds. I'm not recommending any of this stuff, but I'm just saying she is just living her best life around the world.
At the expense of all these men, there's a little divine feminine thing going on
There
there
is
too.
a
Like,
big
she's like,
divine
I
feminine.
have my energy and you are going to do what I say. And men were like, okay, let's do it. I mean, his parents.
Pakistan is loving her because they're getting all this press and people are talking about, oh my God, they're so hospitable. Look how nicely they're treating her. I want to go visit Pakistan. So it's like this free commercial for
Isn't that
Pakistan.
hilarious? Isn't that hilarious? Oh my God. And sadly, she's probably getting treated better than she would in the United States. And we're supposedly the free, the free
Yes.
country,
Oh, they're treating her like a queen over.
Oh my God, have mercy. That is hilarious. Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. And Kendrick Lamar, he's like, I'm not intimidated by you. Yeah. Right to your face, I'm going to tell you what I have to say. So there is powerful energy. It's Pluto in Aquarius. The power, Pluto is it's like it's a tug of war. Is the power going to be over the people with this totalitarian tech stuff, or of the people, from the people, by the people? And the Constitution is coming up to what's called its Pluto return, where it can sometimes what could be break things down to the studs in order to be rebuilt. So this is big transformative energy out there. It's dark, it's tough. We've got to deal with it. It's in our face. It's a new energy that feels uncomfortable, but this is the time we were decided to be incarnated in.
And it's happening in your personal life too, you guys. So it's happening all
Yes.
around, right? So try to take some deep breaths and and go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. Wow, that's
Go with the
amazing.
flow. Use your spiritual tools. Be helpful to others and giving and loving and all those kinds of things. Let go. Try to work on healing. Your health is your number one priority. With bird flu and whatever else is coming our way, that really, really, really needs to be your number priority. Getting enough sleep, doing whatever you can to eat well and rest more and exercise.
Take care of yourself, right? Take care of yourself so you're not run down. I mean, even if it's regular flu or RSV or whatever, good Lord knows what is going on. But if you're run down, you're definitely going to get even a cold. You're just, take good care of yourself, you guys. Take really good care of yourself. We're going to be fine. Celeste and I would be not talking to each other. We would be listening to Duolingo, learning a new language. If it wasn't going to be fun, we would be spending our time more productively trying to learn some other language so that we could go to some other country. We're still here. We're still here. We believe it's going to be okay. And I agree with Celeste. It's dark. It's hard. It's menacing. It's crazy. That's why you got to just tune it out and sip it, get your little doses that you need to get and keep it in its, relatively speaking, keep it in its healthy place in your life. Listening to the news right now is like eating ice cream and chocolate and terrible things for your health 24/7, right? You want to, you want to kind of balance things. So balance the news as well. Well, thank you so much, Celeste, for coming on. I really appreciate it. You guys check her out on, again, like Instagram, YouTube, Threads, all the things, her website, her class coming up. I really, my guides have been telling me to take an astrology class because I enjoy it so much. And I don't, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to pick it up. But I think because I've been addicted to astrologers for like 2 years now, I'm starting to pick up some things. I think I could take your class and
I would
really,
love that, Susan.
really work through my own chart. I think that would be so helpful for me. Because instead
Absolutely.
of like learning, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what this does. Like, I'm learning it for me. You're always going to learn something better if it's for yourself, right? So if you're
Mhm.
using your own chart for the basis of it, I think you're going to come out with.
Learning about my astrology, my personal astrology was mind blowing for me. It just my whole life reframed, and I understood myself so much better. It's the language of self-compassion. It helps you understand your blind spots as well as your talents, and oh my God, in relationships, how you are in a relationship and how to make them better. Oh, Absolutely.
Things just make sense, right? All of a
Yeah.
sudden, things make sense. And I can tell you, Celeste teaches college level astrology. She teaches, she teaches astrologers, but she also teaches beginners. So this is not something that she just decided to do. She's actually a professional teacher of
Yes, I
astrology.
teach for Kepler College,
Yeah, with
a
Kepler College.
world-renowned astrology school. And I
Yeah.
lectured internationally. I can say
And
that because I lectured in London.
she lectured in London, you guys, and yet you were just listening to her and she didn't come across as boring or stodgy. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm telling you. You pick people that you connect with, whoever that is for you, because they're out there. Not everybody teaches the same way. So check out her class. And don't forget, my class is coming up, Destiny of Your Soul. Mine is just a 2-hour class, so it's not a big long thing, and I'm teaching it with a Fefe Tahimba, which is Touched by Tarot. So check out my class too. And thank you again, Celeste, for coming. And we did a live together on Instagram and we had so much fun. We're going to do another live on
We're going
Instagram
to do
because
that
it was just
again.
fun.
Maybe after the first eclipse. That's when we'll do it, after the March
We'll do
13th.
it.
So we can
Okay.
talk about all of the stuff that
All the
happened.
stuff that happened, right? Because I read the energy and then the energy always matches up with the astrology. So we work really well together like that. And so you can see we're planning for the future. Everything is okay. And we're going to be okay. It's
Yeah.
just not going to be fun or pleasant, but we are going to make it. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take really good care of yourselves and we'll see you next time. For entertainment purposes only.